oversaturated, oversaturated, oversaturated.
The podcast,
Oversaturated, oversaturated, oversaturated,
Welcome to another episode of Oversaturated, the podcast, where we discuss music, movies, pop culture, and everything in between. I'm Johnny.
And I'm Ralph.
Welcome to episode number 69.
69. Fair trade. 69. No, nothing. I know we got guests here, my bad. But, you ain't get the joke.
It's a pretty nasty
I get it
episode.
now. Look. And see,
Glad I brought my husband with me.
That joke was going to fly if he was here or not.
No, it's fact. Yeah. So, listeners, if you haven't noticed, we do have a guest with us today.
Yes, we do.
If you recall our Conscious Fest episode, we did have this lady on with us to talk about her accounting firm, and she's back to have a discussion about tax season, which we will get into later on. But Keisha, thank you for returning to Oversaturated.
Thank you for having me.
You have to be like the second or third repeat guest. Maybe
second.
Second?
Oh, you're talking about overall?
Yeah, overall.
Oh, just probably the fourth.
Man, maybe the fourth. But
Yeah.
you are the first guest of 2020. So
Oh, cool.
shout out.
Perfect.
Shout out to you. New listeners, please follow us on all social media. Facebook, just search Oversaturated the Podcast. Instagram is Oversat the Podcast. Twitter is Oversat Podcast. And our email is oversatpodcast@gmail.com. And check out our website, oversatthepod.com. Anything you need to know about OS is there.
Yes, sir. And if you want to follow us individually, I am the Mind the Rap on Instagram and Twitter.
On Twitter, I am JON 2 underscores the letter B. Instagram, I'm JBS underscore ESL underscore AAMU.
Yes.
Nobody's following it.
Hey, over the last, no, real shit. So a lot of people, this guy included, used to clown me about my long IG handle.
Yes.
I don't care. I don't care.
It's more the underscores.
Listen, I have told him he should corner the market and just do the John 2 letter scores underscore B.
No,
But
I
he said he
did. I
couldn't.
tried it. I couldn't. Somebody got it.
But
So,
you still refuse to change it.
I'm not changing it. It's me. I've had that shit since Instagram got on iPhone. I'm not changing it. I'm not changing this shit.
Yeah, we needed that laugh.
I don't know. If your platform get any bigger, you may need to change it.
Yes. We talked about this. Like, you're going to have to change
Man,
it.
listen.
Don't be hard-headed.
Why? If that's the case, just type my first name. It'll pop up. Man, move on. No, I'm happy we have a fun guest today.
Yeah,
this is great.
It's great. But no, we kind of have to bring down the energy because it's been a while since we recorded. And, the world is kind of still in mourning. Rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, who died 8 days ago in a sudden helicopter crash. I'll just tell everybody where I was at. I was at the gym. And, you get these alerts and stuff on your phone, TMZ, like TMZ killing somebody again. Okay, yeah, whatever. So I'm waiting as the things kind of develop, and they're not going away.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not really sure what, to kind of make of it. And then when it was confirmed, I kind of stood back. It kind of took the wind out of me a little bit. And I grew up, I'm not even a Kobe Bryant fan.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're talking about somebody that I cheered against pretty much growing up my whole life.
Yeah.
But you still have this attachment to this person
Right.
that kind of,
Same.
makes you question your mortality.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know how maybe you guys feel about that.
I was definitely sad. I mean, I was at home chilling, watching Power actually, and I literally got a text from 4 different people saying, "Is this stuff about Kobe true?"
Yeah.
I'm like, and at this point, I hadn't been on social media since like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what y'all talking about. So I immediately get on Twitter and I saw Kobe Bryant dead. I was like, whoa, oh my goodness. And I'm not typically affected by celebrity deaths. The biggest one was Michael Jackson. But after sitting back and thinking about it, it's like, wow, it was random. Somebody that I grew up watching. Now, I was a Kobe fan. He was the reason I kind of enjoyed watching basketball. So for that type of person, for that type of individual to have such an impact on my life as a kid, and for for them to be suddenly like gone is like,
It's crazy.
like it's wild, you know. So,
Yeah.
I hope everybody had a chance, or if you are still grieving, like whatever your grieving process is, go through it. Like it's okay. However you grieve, do that. You know. So yeah. What about you, Keisha?
I was okay, so I have a full story because I went to the Jeezy the night before, right?
Okay.
Turn up.
And then I was out late. I went home and slept on the couch because I had to be at the news at 5 o'clock in the morning. So it was when I was, did the news. So I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. When I got home, I was so ready to take a nap because I was so tired. So I was napping, and when I finally opened my eyes, my husband was sitting on the side end of the bed, and he was looking at me. He was like, I got something to tell you. And I'm like, what? And I think it was only been on maybe one social media post. So we really was like, didn't know. They were saying none of his kids. Turned out it was one of his kids.
Yep.
Then they were saying Rick Fox.
Yeah,
So I don't know. It was crazy. And we have a daughter. So for me, I was just like kind of thinking about my husband and the space he was in, you know. So not really was a Kobe fan, but you always need your arch nemesis, right?
Yeah.
So it was like just as sad as if your hero, was
Yeah. And like my fiance is a huge Kobe fan. So like, I get home from the gym, she's, you think somebody, that was her, her,
Right.
her dude, whatever. So I'm just like, I think it really hit home when, the news about the daughter came out.
My God.
That's what
Man.
that made my heart break. So like me and him, we had something planned that day as far as more content. And and he texted me, and I was like, bro, honestly, I'm no good. I'm no good to
and
you.
see, I knew how I was affected, and again, I'm not really affected by these types of deaths, but I know Kobe played a bigger role in other guys' lives that I'm cool with. So I'm checking on my people, and like Ralph said, we had something to do that day. So I was like, bro, you good? Like, we don't have to do what we got to do today. Like, it's all good.
Yeah,
like,
and
do
I was
what you need to
having
do.
like the best day ever. Like I was just on the news, my social media popping. I'm like, and then it's like, okay, all that needs to come to a halt because the country is grieving.
Yeah.
But
definitely take that time for yourself whenever you need it. Like, nothing is that important that your health is like should be at risk.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, definitely prayers and condolences to everybody affected, not only just the Bryant family, but the other lives lost on that helicopter that day. But let's please.
Yeah, let's switch
change.
it, man.
Lord, that was heavy.
Let's get to it, man. We gonna get to off the dome.
Yeah, off the dome.
All right, you want me to take it? Yeah, take it. Okay, so I have to get better at these because I'm real bad at asking him random questions. So I have to like kind of tailor them to him. And I wanted to make this one more open-ended since we have a guest today.
Yeah.
So, scenario. You have unlimited funds to throw your perfect or just an outstanding comedy show. No budget doesn't matter. You got all the money to pay whoever you want to pay.
Okay.
You get to choose 3 comedians.
Okay.
Who's going first? Who's going second? Who's going last?
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay. While y'all decide.
Okay.
Y'all deciding? Y'all
Yeah,
deciding?
I'm
Okay.
deciding.
I'm gonna say mine, and these are just because these are my personal favorites, and I feel like they would mesh well in a comedy show. So my opening act is DC Young Fly.
Okay.
And I like DC Young Fly because I watched 85 South Show a lot, and the way that he gets on stage and like just roast people in the audience, I think that's great. That's audience participation. You getting people loosened up. I think that's perfect, and he's hilarious. My second act is Deion Cole.
You took mine.
You can still use him if you want. Deion Cole has made a very impressive outing and stand up the last year, I would say. But he has earlier stand-ups that I also think are funny as well. Like Deion Cole not new to stand-up.
No, not at all.
Not at all. So the one he did last year just kind of brought it home for me.
Yeah.
My headliner, and it's because it's a personal favorite, Cat Williams.
Okay.
Cat Williams will definitely be my headliner. High energy. He has the energy of DC Young Fly. He has the insightfulness of Deion Cole, and he brings his own flair. Like.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go random. Like I'm gonna go real random, right?
Okay.
Some of them are dead, but
Oh, it's fine. That's fine.
I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna try Monique first. She's gonna be the opening act, right?
Okay.
I think in this climate, we start shitting on Monique a lot, but she's still funny on stage. I don't think she's.
No, I agree.
I think just because of the whole, her personality, people have forgotten that what she can do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would start off with her. Next, I'll probably go Dave Chappelle. I want, some type of intellect. No disrespect to other people I'm picking, And I think to close it out, I'm going with Bernie Mac.
Okay.
Like I need Bernie, come back one more time.
Yeah.
One more.
I feel
That's it.
It's not a bad lineup. What you got, Keisha?
All right. So to open it, I'm gonna go with Corey Holcomb.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
He's a house favorite.
Y'all
We
are
listen
a
to-
raunchy
oh,
house.
Okay, so my husband absolutely need help. He blurts out Corey Holcomb like stuff and is so inappropriate.
No, fact. No, that's a fact.
So we was blurting out murderer for somebody who was gonna have an abortion the other day. So he's just all right. So
I love that. That humor is awesome. I love it.
So I think he has the best Jussie Smollett
Take.
I don't know if y'all heard it.
I probably haven't. But this is wild.
Yeah, so you should go back and listen to his Jussie Smollett podcast.
Gotcha.
He got this joke where he was like, "It's feces. It was feces all over the scene." So
Yeah, I'm gonna go look that up.
yeah, so it's hilarious. So next I'll probably go with D-Ray. Oh my God,
Okay.
D-Ray
Okay.
is just so hilarious to me, and every time I see him at the comedy shows, I think he should headline. Like he's always doing Mike Epps, and he's always funnier than Mike Epps. Like he's hilarious. And then for a headliner, I'm gonna have to go with my favorite Cat. So
Cat Williams?
yeah,
No,
I'm
that's
gonna go
dope.
with Cat. I couldn't give that one up. I can give up Deion.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's fine.
yeah,
That's fine.
Cat.
That's what's
Yeah.
up. I like it.
I'm glad nobody said Mike Epps. I'm very happy about
Well,
that.
you didn't say movie role. You said comedy.
I did say that. I'm just making sure we understood the question.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that was a dope lineup.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. That Corey Holcomb would. Yeah,
Yeah,
nah,
yeah.
I rock with that. I rock with that.
But my question, me and Johnny have a lot of music debates on this platform. Oh, so many. Every time we probably get on the mic is a music debate.
This is true.
But we have a lot of classic album debates, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And I think sometimes the ideology on classic gets misconstrued.
Mm-hmm.
So can you see an album that's not flawless, right? That you don't skip any tracks still being a classic album?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually easier for him because I didn't expect that answer from
Okay.
him.
You didn't?
No.
Now, I do feel like classic album can have skips, but it
Mhm.
depends on how long the album is and how
Okay.
many skips the album has. That's like the
And sometimes you still know the whole skip song.
Yeah.
So I mean,
True.
Yeah.
Very
just
true.
because you skip it don't mean you don't necessarily like the
Yeah.
song. It's just not up to par.
I think one thing we do, and this just is a generational thing, I think like we go back and listen to these old classic albums and we like, this didn't really age that well. This didn't, we nitpick what is deemed to be classic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe where the lines get blurred because like if we revisit an album from I would say 10 years ago now, like even 5 years ago that album still might have slapped like hard, but now it's like might not be that good.
The direction of music just
Yeah.
changed, so it's like your ears changed. So it's like maybe I don't really like this as much as I did, but that doesn't change what it was at that time.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, I would feel like album would have to age well for it to be a classic. You don't feel like that?
No. I don't. I agree with that, but I think we nitpick like. Well, track 7 on Jodeci really wasn't that good.
Yeah.
like, come on, fam. Like, goddamn. It really be stuff like that.
Do you believe in instant classic albums?
No.
You don't at all.
No. I don't even believe in an instant great. Like you have to feel it. You have to go through it. You have to listen to it over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't believe like it's no.
I'm not mad at the answer at all.
Yeah, because we had that all the time. It's like it gives you the classic vibe because of a blueprint that another album gave you.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's necessarily there yet.
Right.
And you got to make those memories with those albums. Like, you got to be in the club with them, or you got to be on the road with them. You got to be, like, you got to have a heartbreak with one of them. I don't know. Like, you got to make those memories for it to be a classic, too. So it can't be an instant classic album.
Fair enough.
This has turned out to be a way like better like guest. Like I knew she was gonna be great, but like I didn't anticipate her like with all these takes like on these. This is great. No, I appreciate this.
I'm
awesome.
so happy, excited. I might be the third time around.
No, don't question though.
Yeah. But now we're off the dome now. Basically, can an album be classic without necessarily being a flawless album, man?
Yeah, and budget means nothing here. If you could pick any 3 comedians to do your own comedy show, which comedians would they be?
Yeah. And now let's get to our next segment. The new segment that we debuted last episode is called the Pull Up. Basically, on the Pull Up, I give creative control over to my co-host Johnnie. He dictates any news articles that hits the OS News desk. He decides if we're gonna pull up or keep it moving.
Let's get it cracking.
I hate this. First,
dictatorship.
Right. First.
Got our own little Donald Trump.
Yeah. First headline. Tyler, the Creator, and the Grammys. What we gonna do? We gonna pull up or keep it moving?
No, let's pull up.
Okay, skirt. Okay, now that was my break sound. Give me some breaks. All right. But Tyler, the Creator, recently won Rap Album of the Year for the Grammys, and he went on to diss the Grammys using buzzwords like urban, things like that. Don't classify my album in a rap category. You just, because he's a rapper, so they pretty much put it in a rap category. But if you listen to Igor, it's not a rap album. It's not traditional rap at all. It's genre bending, and he had a problem with it. But, he took the award, and I don't blame him for taking the award. It's hard work, it's paying off.
Right.
But how do you feel about just those comments and the Grammys, if you want to get into that too?
I agree with the comments.
Mm-hmm.
That the Igor album was one of the best albums of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just was. And again, like you said, it wasn't a rap album because his previous albums have been mainly rap and this one isn't. Don't put him in the rap category. It definitely should have been nominated for Album of the Year. I feel like they just gave him that award as like a consolation prize for like snubbing him in prior years. Because Flower Boy, I feel like should have won Best Rap Album when it was nominated. So yeah, I agree with him.
Yeah, he used the fact that, I mean, if this album was made by anybody else, it would definitely get more consideration than just rap. So I agree with that. And then the Grammys recently going through their own, type of scandal. So I can see where Tyler is coming from with his remarks. I hate to see it. Did you?
Well, I mean, when you're talking about the Grammys, they know who they want to win. They just got to figure out where to put them at.
Yeah.
And if they didn't want any other rap albums to win, then that's where Tyler fell. I didn't listen to Igor.
Yeah.
So I think Tyler is a great comedian. I wish he bring the show back.
Oh no, Lawyer Squad was fire.
Lawyer Squad.
Oh my god.
But I mean, we know how they go. My account is black.
Facts. Facts.
Okay, next topic here. We got the NFL drafting the boats. Go pull up and keep it moving.
It's jokester, but I'm gonna keep it moving.
Okay, great. Next, we have Lil Nas X getting flamed by Pastor Troy.
It's so funny, but I'm gonna keep it moving, man.
Damn it. Okay. I really wanted to read that.
No, pull up then. Pull up.
You like, I got a lot to say.
I got a lot to say about this.
Pull up.
Okay. Now, okay, I have to read this. Now, did you see Lil Nas get up for the Grammys?
I saw him.
Okay. Well, Pastor Troy is obviously upset. So let's see. Well, I guess I won't be winning the Grammy if this is what I gotta wear. They love to push this shit on our kids. The other day at Applebee's, and he added Applebee's, had some punks kissing and laughing, eating mozzarella sticks. First thing my 14-year-old son said, "Fuck Applebee's," and it brought joy to my heart. He sees it, their agenda to take masculinity from men, black men especially. Some may say he's making money. RuPaul do too, but I ain't bumping his CD. Integrity is priceless. Y'all better open that third eye and let your sons know what it is. Or or, or they ass gonna be headed down that Old Town Road for real. I can't even get to the hashtags, yo. But,
Why he mad at mozzarella sticks? Like, what's wrong? Like, what's happening? Fam, come on.
Hey, I just went vegan, so I'm mad at mozzarella sticks too.
But I mean, you're not gonna get mad at people eating them.
what they gotta do?
I don't know.
But why he mad at Applebee's?
But why,
Like,
why he mad at Applebee's is the question.
He act like Applebee's like invited them people to come. Like maybe them people, maybe they just wanted Applebee's at night.
It's so crazy how the
But
generation.
his son is never gonna eat Applebee's.
Why? Yo, it's so many layers to this.
That's
shit.
what-
Like, wait, like,
That's why I'm like, y'all have it.
why is your son getting so mad at what 14 at other people eating mozzarella sticks
At Applebee's.
at of all places Applebee's? Oh my god!
The internet dragged Pastor Troy. They didn't even know who he was. They thought he was a real pastor.
I didn't. Now see that I didn't know.
Yeah, the internet was mad. Big mad. You don't talk about the darling Lil Nas X.
Hey man, listen.
Darling.
Yeah, he's darling.
Did you like Old Town Road, the song?
Let me ask you this: how old is your daughter?
She's almost 3.
Okay, does she love Old Town Road?
Every other kid I know do. Like every other kid.
That's my argument.
Yeah,
I think it's
was
kids bop. I think it's
something-
kids bop.
Yeah. It's something to just
care.
have fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's something fun for the kids.
That's on fire. I don't care. that's my shit. I love it.
I mean, when it come on, you be like, the horses in the back.
That's all I
You
got.
still know the words though.
I mean, you never gonna forget those words.
Yeah, you don't forget. You know, watch me, nay, nay.
Yeah, it's like on that level.
Damn. Damn, they.
I'm just glad somebody's agreeing with me.
All right.
That's all.
Man, next topic. We done completely got away from.
Yeah, we really did.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Nicki Minaj brother goes to prison. Pull up and keep it moving.
No, we keep it moving.
All right. Terry Crews had some crazy remarks. Pull up and keep it moving.
We have a woman here. Let's pull up.
Okay.
Let's get her perspective.
Okay, Terry Crews has put his foot in his mouth for the past 2 weeks, I believe. Gabrielle Union has come out with accusations against America's Got Talent. Terry Crews pretty much refutes them, saying, "Oh, Terry, this is a great place to work. There's no racism here. There's no discrimination. Blah blah blah." Right. So that pretty much discounts everything that she went through.
Right.
Now he's doubling down and just, he doubled down for a while. Now he's apologizing.
Mm-hmm.
So now we kind of got the full story, right? I gave you just a little bit.
Yeah.
Thoughts. And I'll start with the lady first.
Yeah. Woosah.
Being a woman and a black woman and being victimized by a black man and, like, black women is not protected. We are the most unprotected human on the planet. So I definitely feel her. I don't know what happened. I don't care if it's wrong. If she felt a certain way, you just supposed to have her back, period. Right, wrong, and different. Yeah. And if you don't publicly discount what she says. If you feel like it literally was nothing going on, then you call that woman. And then you see what her experience was and see how you can make it better and make a difference. Not just go to the whole world and say, "Oh, well, I'm good." Yeah, you a big ass black man. Ain't nobody finna,
Yeah.
So,
and that kind of gets to the point where when he was going through his Me Too
Right.
movement, he didn't want anybody
right.
to discount him and everything that he may have or may not experience.
Exactly.
Right.
So him of all people.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, just because he worked in the same place as Gabrielle Union, and he had a certain experience doesn't mean she didn't have a different experience.
Right.
Like, it's really
Like it just
it's that simple.
couldn't happen
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. Seriously, like it's
Yeah,
that simple. And he was so loud and vocal about it. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it even worse.
Like, did they have your phone?
Excuse me. Yeah.
Hey.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, Terry Crews got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah, he's gonna have to
sorry.
get the fuck out of here.
Okay. Well, next topic.
That rolling white chicks is starting to make more sense now.
Negro, please. But next topic. Mase makes headlines. Are we gonna pull up on Pastor Mase?
That's the last
Mace and
one?
Betha. We got one more after this.
I feel like it's a conversation to be had here.
Okay.
Let's pull up.
All right. Okay. Pastor. I have to call him Pastor because ain't he a pastor? But nonetheless,
I don't know if he's still a pastor.
over Grammy weekend, Sean P. Diddy Combs gave this big Black excellence speech when he accepted the award. I forgot what award it was, but however, he's basically preaching Black excellence. You know, we should respect Black artists. Blah blah blah. Mase comes back and he fires back in a lengthy Instagram post, which I will not read, but he basically calls out Diddy for bad business practices and not honoring his artists, not paying his artists. So, do we have any thoughts like that on that?
I think it's we hail Diddy and Jay-Z to a certain standard because they are Black billionaires, I guess. Especially in the music industry. So we hang on to every word that they say regarding the music industry, especially if they're trying to advocate for other Black people, ownership, things like that. So I do find it interesting. Now, again, I don't know the full story behind whatever it is Mase and Diddy got going on, but I do find it interesting that Mase does have these things to say. Like, Mase doesn't own his publishing or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And he tried to buy it back from Diddy.
Tried to give him $2 million.
Yeah. And Diddy's response was, you have to match what the white people are offering, basically. Now, from a business side, I get that. But at the same time, if you're trying to preach, Black excellence, we need ownership and all that type of stuff, why not sell this artist that you had back his own publishing? I guess I'm conflicted, honestly.
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel conflicted. I don't know. It seemed like every time Mase come back around, it's with some shenanigans. So it's like, could you even believe what he's saying? I mean, the last time he came around, wasn't he in a battle rap with who he's in a battle rap?
Was Cameron?
Yeah, he was just in a battle rap. So I mean, it's like, is it really this? And if it is, then you always into something. So
yeah, it's not. It's the messenger, not the message.
Yeah,
but I mean,
but it's always like that.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with everything you guys are saying. My take on it is that we always salute Diddy for his business prowess. He's up here he's synonymous with glamour and all that other shit. But this is the thing: Diddy got his money from music, to being a music mogul and jerking his artists. We've known this for years. This is not even new.
True.
I'm not even understanding why this is even really a headline at this point, because wasn't they just on the reunion tour? What?
You're right.
I mean, he fucked them before. Excuse me. He fucked them before. The reunion tour. So it's not like.
Right.
But I think from Mace's perspective, and especially in that post, if I'm not mistaken, he mentioned for Mace's own future interests, it was best for him to be on that tour. So whatever he wanted to do in the future, I'm out, to show face. I'm out here, I'm here.
I'm conflicted still, because it's kind of like, I mean, he ain't just messed up with Mase. It's a whole roster, and
right.
They still deal with Diddy to some extent, which is even crazier. It's just like, if y'all feel this way, clash action, suit his ass. It's not really that hard.
Hey man.
I don't think they thought about that.
I mean, how many times? Lots they ran down on Diddy at that radio station.
Yeah.
They didn't get no money. Think about all the people: Loon, Black Rob, Shine.
Damn.
Shine life messed up. He went to jail for Diddy.
That's a fact.
So it's. I mean, hey, it is what it is. I think even myself, we glamorize a Black billionaire, but we don't realize what they had to do to kind of get there.
Yeah.
You had to make some shady stuff. You don't get $1 billion when you was broke in a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? They was broke.
No, right. Right. And man, I don't know. I'm just so conflicted. It's like, wanna hang on to these words that Diddy was saying in his speech because
But it's
we
hard
do need,
to receive it because it's Diddy.
Yeah, no, exactly. So
that may be where Diddy is right now. I mean, back then he wasn't there. Diddy, that is where Diddy. I think
People
that
have
day,
changed.
right now, he means exactly what he was saying.
Yeah.
Back then, what he was doing.
So if that's where he is now, my question to him would be, what steps is he taking to ensure?
Yeah, and that's a valid question.
Yeah.
I mean, and maybe we don't know what may happen in the future, or what may come out. You know.
Also true.
Yeah.
Has he responded to that? Do we know?
I
Probably
don't.
not.
No.
It might
In
be
his best
interest
interest,
not to.
I didn't see that shit.
Yeah.
If I was him,
Facts.
I didn't. Well, hey man, that was good dialogue. But last on the docket, we got Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. I hope you keep it moving, but you know,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Shout out to 50. You got to start on the walk of fame.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to get to our OS discussion of the day. So as previously stated, we do have Keisha here, who is a black accountant.
Yep.
Those
My
who
accountant
are,
is black.
Right. Those who are viewing on YouTube, she has the My Accountant is Black shirts for sale.
Yeah.
So before we even get started, just let the people know where they can find you, your office hours, things like that.
Okay. So first, you can find me on any social media, Instagram, Facebook. My website, everything is the Accounting Queen.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I go by. So the Accounting Queen on Facebook, Instagram, accountingqueen.com.
Yep.
I am in Ferguson, Missouri, off Church Street, 111 Church Street, and right now it's tax time, so the hours is just crazy.
Yep.
I do still work a full-time job, so sometimes I'm there in the morning. Sometimes I don't get there until around 3 because I get off around 2:30. So, but you can find my schedule on my website. All the booking information is on there.
Nice. And it is tax time, so we appreciate you even more for stopping by and chopping up with us. And she's not only local. To our listeners that are outside of the St. Louis area, she does handle tax returns throughout the country.
Yes, so yeah, the whole United States. And then I don't just do taxes, so I also do bookkeeping, payroll, financial consultations, help set business entities up, all that good stuff. So this is just my busy season, but you know, if you need an accountant, you can, you know, do a little set up a accountant consultation on my website, and I can hopefully help you.
Okay. Let me ask you this: is it just you alone?
Okay,
Or
so
do you have a team?
I do have a team.
Okay.
So how it's set up is the Accounting Queen is like the mommy.
Okay.
And then under that you have the real accountants, and the real accountants is everybody that make up that works in the office, and they're their own business, and they just kind of contract through me, and they all have their own financial services and tax businesses.
Queen.
So yeah,
I love it.
yeah. So it's
Queen indeed.
Yeah.
5 or 6 of us in the office.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Because I was just making sure, because I know when we initially met you at Conscious Fest, you had a team of people with you.
Yeah.
So I know they couldn't come here today, but
Right.
I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm listening to everything that you provide. I'm like, she does this by herself? Oh man.
No, yeah. So we all work really well together.
That's what's
Although
up.
we kind of work as our own entity,
Yeah.
we still collaborate together on things like Conscious Fest, or if we have clients, you know, some are, you know, more difficult than others. We all, you know, we work together.
Okay.
Nice. That's what's up. So it is officially tax season. The IRS has officially started accepting returns, correct?
Yes, they started, I think, on the 27th.
27th of January.
Yes.
Now, as of January 31st, everybody should have their W-2s and
Exactly.
other financial information.
Exactly.
What tips can you give people for this tax season? Because I'm not sure, but some of the tax codes have like updated.
Okay, so one thing to know is that the tax code usually don't do a really big update unless we have a new president. So when Obama came in, we had a lot of big stuff going with first-time home buyers and things like that. Then it kind of went away and phased out. He also had the health care bill, so he had the premium tax credit. That's kind of phasing out because now y'all President Trump, you know. Yeah, I know.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So when y'all president came, he did the the Job Act cuts or something like that. It's called the TAJC Tax Act Job something. Sorry. So that was a really big thing, and honestly, it was something good for people who own businesses and work.
Okay.
So, and that was when Donald Trump, that was one of the biggest tax codes that he did when he came. And he also did some stuff with the mortgage interest, and it's, all boring stuff. So, so it's not a lot has changed this year, only because we have the same president. Gotcha. When we get a new president, you should look for the tax code to change really big again. That's usually when you see a big tax change.
Okay, nice. Now, I have questions here that I had people submit to us just to ask a tax accountant. So we can go through some of these.
Okay, dang, mind. You ain't even try to send them to me first. We see that?
Ooh,
I will give a couple tips though while you're doing that. So if you, I always like to start with the offset number. If you owe student loans or child support or past debt, it's a number that you can call to see if your tax refund will be confiscated, and that number is 1-800-304-3107. And I always like to start there, because even if I heard you're about to get married. Okay, so like. A lot of times when people first get married and they do a married file jointly, what happened is they didn't know like their spouse financial situation. So they'll be expecting a tax return and get taken because maybe their spouse owed child support, or their spouse have student loans that they haven't paid. And so you can also get your tax return taken for your spouse if you filing together. So
something to be aware of.
So if you is filing filing jointly return, do it and you think you may be in a situation where your refunds can get taken, do it for you and your spouse.
Nice. So that was actually one of the questions that I have here. Is it best for married couples to file jointly or separately? But I guess it would depend on the circumstance.
So some people I know, for our age, a lot of us, and probably people that's listening to this podcast has probably went to college, right? And we know that when you try to get like a payment arrangement with Sally Mae, they go off your income. And if you and your spouse file together, then they'll take that whole income and base your the settlement or your payment arrangement off that. And I remember, like, my husband was like, well, they said, I'm like, you better tell them you're not married. He was like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm like, you better tell them I'm dead. No. So we don't file together only because I know the ramifications of what filing together comes with.
Yeah. Oh, that's dope.
So, I mean, I can't speak for anybody else's situation because, when it comes to like buying houses and homes, you really need to talk to your tax accountant and make sure that you're covered. You cover your bases. And a lot of people don't tax plan. So a lot of times when people come into my office and they're doing their taxes and they just want to get the biggest refund amount that they can, and I'm like, hey, what are your goals for the next year?
Right, yeah.
Because would you be able to, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you don't have a job and they use your tax return like a check stub or a W-2. So if you going in there saying that you lost $20,000, how you gonna get a car? How you gonna get an apartment? So I like to, when people come in there, I mean, whatever you want to do, but hey, you still got to live too.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people go into tax season just expecting refunds. They never plan to, for the future, basically.
And people don't even understand what a tax refund actually is.
So why don't you explain exactly what a tax refund is?
A tax refund means you overpaid in taxes.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all are going exempt. That means you ain't paid shit. So how do you get a tax refund and you ain't overpaid? So, I mean, and income has to, your income and the standard deduction and all that has a lot to do with it. But, I mean, people really do going in thinking that, you know, you have to pay your taxes.
Yeah, technically you aren't like
you don't supposed
you're not
to
supposed
get
to get anything.
You really
you're not supposed to pay. You're not supposed
exactly.
to
Yeah.
And if you owing more than $1,000, you're getting penalized because in the United States we are pay as you go tax. We are pay as you go. So that means you're supposed to pay your taxes as you make your money.
Yeah.
So you don't supposed to go in owing a whole bunch of taxes at the end of the year.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you provide like maybe any mentorships or internships like underneath your umbrella?
I will. I
Okay.
mean, I have last year I mentored 2 people
Okay.
and let them come in and do an internship. So if somebody is really interested, I will. But you know,
It's not something that you kind of
I mean,
you will, but you're not, broadcasting it per se.
no,
right?
I'm not broadcasting it.
Gotcha.
I'm in NABA, National Association of Black Accountants.
Okay.
Somebody's supposed to be joining. We actually have an event coming up. I hope to see you there.
Yeah, remind me.
Okay. So I'm in NABA. So
Okay.
if somebody like from NABA or one of those students wanted to come and do it, I'm all for mentorship. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Nice. So what happens if a person decides not to file their taxes?
Got your ass, Mr. Postman. I mean, so if you don't file your taxes, the IRS will file them for you. And when they file your taxes, they don't give you all the credits and all that. They just say, okay, you make this much, we finna tax you 10%, now you finna pay. And you don't want the IRS to pay your taxes for you, right? Because they don't have your best interest. So that's what happened. A lot of times, if you not at a certain bracket, it'll probably, get swept under the rug until maybe something goes on. But you don't want to not file your taxes. I mean, that's just, you don't want the IRS bothering you. Nobody wants that.
No.
So, I mean, the only time you should probably not pay your taxes if you don't have, if the IRS, if you haven't met the income to pay your taxes. So.
Gotcha.
Okay. Oh, let me ask you this. What like struggles I would say that you have experienced, you being a young CEO yourself, just with, being a young Black woman, like what things have you, come across? That's, struggles.
Yeah, so I recently everybody was like calling me, asking me about, I had to make this Facebook status about how the way that I put my brand out and do taxes, I think is kind of a different way of that probably people my age have seen in accounting, kind of making it like hip, cute, whatever. So, and being out there with it, right?
Yeah.
So, making my own brand. I ran into an issue with somebody like stealing my status, saying the same things I was saying, kind of like piggying back off my brand and taking things I was saying for their tax stuff, which I am all about collaboration and everybody eat, everybody win. That's why I'm in NABA and all that. So I don't care about that, but I am very protective about my brand because I work so hard at it. I come, you know what I mean? I do those. You see me at Conscious Fest, I work hard. Yep. All this stuff costs money, so Facts. I got offended when I saw somebody like trying to take my stuff. They hashtagging Black account
and I think I remember seeing that status.
Yeah,
because you have certain phrases that you use that are tied to your accounting queen brand.
Yeah.
Have you copyrighted or trademarked these?
Okay, so when I made this status, everybody was like you need to trademark, you need to do this, and it's crazy how much that stuff costs. And I mean now, I need to just bite the bullet and pay for it. So I'm meeting with a lawyer next week to talk about it so I can do that. Now, everything is registered, and then I have my fictitious names and stuff like that. But now I do need to go ahead and trademark it.
Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned that about how, I guess, the public perceives accountants because in media, like movies, TV and stuff, you see old white man with the green visor and shit. Like,
exactly.
No, like there are Black accountants, as you can tell, and we are like fun. Like we have personalities. Yeah. And I have to explain that to people. Like being a Black accountant, like I'm not boring.
But in the past, they make accountants take what is those, like the communication classes and because we're known for being like standoff people, not knowing how to communicate properly because we talk with numbers, right? And I happen to be a accountant, a people's person, so I don't have those problems.
Yeah.
But if you go like in my organization at like or in like corporate, the majority of the accountants they're not people's persons.
Right. Yeah.
They are really boring. They do talk like they saying 1, 2, 3, you know, with numbers. So I mean we get that, but it's some of us out here that's not like that.
We already kicking it. Like,
I went to the Jeezy, then went to the news. Like,
right.
Come on now.
We talk about balance. You know?
Facts. Like, we regular people. We like to have fun.
Let me ask you this. It's kind of off the wall, but it's still regarding your profession. Do you sell dope dealers? Like, would you? I mean, that's like a legit question.
I what?
Take dope dealers, like illegal money. Like, would you balance the books for them? Without going to jail?
Wait a minute. This is how I'm going to answer that question. I'm not going to answer it. I'm answering. I would say this.
Screw that question. I'm sorry.
So if like, okay, let's use like Ghost, right?
Yeah.
Even though he had the club or whatever, but let's use Ghost. Ghost would have never went to jail for selling drugs, right?
Yeah.
What he would have went to jail for?
Tax evasion.
Tax evasion,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I tell all the drug dealers to get their taxes
Watch a lot of TV. My mind, I was like, hey man, I wonder could the accountant go to jail for that?
Great.
That's what I would say.
Okay.
That's dope as hell.
But leave me alone, though. I ain't trying to have all the drug dealers calling me now.
All money ain't good money. Absolutely.
Speaking of having people call you, we talked off air about you being on the news. So congratulations to being on the news here in St. Louis. But you have an interesting story about being on the news here, right?
So, the people that listen to this podcast, they won't qualify for this unless y'all have like old people that listen to it. So the state of Missouri had this real cool credit called the property tax credit, and it's for people who's either 100% disabled or that's 65 and up. And if you rent your home, you get If you rent, you get up to $750. And if you own the home, you own your home, you get $1,100, right? Okay. So I went on the news to tell everybody about this credit, and I also wanted to talk about entrepreneurs because St. Louis, they was like number one for starting business and young entrepreneurs, all this. But I didn't get to that because the segment was short. So I was talking about the property tax credit for people that's 65 and up. And I charged $25 to do this circuit breaker, this return rate. And ever since I've been on the news, old people have been harassing me. They've been calling me like, is this the tax queen? I need to see if I can get that thing on the news. And they don't know what it is. They just know that they 65 and they qualify for some money. But I'm glad I talked about it because even if I don't do it, a lot of people didn't know about it. Yeah. Literally from the time I was saying bye to like shaking the newscaster hand, and my phone rang off the hook all day.
That's love.
No, definitely.
It was all old people. And they can't hear. So I had to repeat myself really loud. And they didn't know how to say my name. And they kept calling me the tax queen.
The tax queen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for everybody that's listening, if you have a grandparent or a parent or whoever that's 65 and up, and if they're if they make under 27, or if their income is below 27,000, then they do qualify for this credit. It's a cool credit that Missouri give because they really do. They need it, you know. And it may be just $750 or $1,100 for us. We may not think it's nothing. Well, I don't know. I'll take $750 right now. I'll take $750 right now. But for them, it's everything. So just ask them, do they know about the circuit breaker? And some of them do, but some of them don't. Yeah. And that's money that, you know, a lot of people is just not getting and missing out on. And they can also go back 3 years. So if they like 70 and they never done it, they can go back 3 years plus the current year that we're in.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned not being able to talk about the tips you have for entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
We have quite a few entrepreneurs that listen to this podcast.
Yes.
So do you want to go into those?
Sure. So a lot of people, the majority of entrepreneurs still have jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys count this as a side business, or do you just count this as a hobby?
No, it's LLC.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you guys gonna do a partnership return?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys kind of on it, right? A lot of people they count their hobby, or they may count their hobby as not a LLC or set it up as a business. I say put it in a business, especially if you spending money. Like this space costs money,
Yep.
you know, and you can get that back. So, like, don't sleep on your side hustle. Don't sleep on whatever you're doing that's your dream. Put it in, set it up as a business. I mean, in the state of Missouri, to get an LLC is $50. The fictitious name is $7. Like, come on now, what are we doing, right? And then you
Facts.
can write off the $57.
So yeah,
You know,
it's lit.
so I would say definitely if you don't know how to do it, you can, you know, call me and I can help you set up your business so you can get it popping, because, you know, especially if you don't have kids, you know, people, they always saying, you know, I don't have kids, I'm not getting no tax return. Set you up a business. That'll be your kid. You mess around and get way more money back than for having a business than having a kid, right?
Right. Right.
So that's what I usually say. Set it up as a business. Do your research. Get you an accountant, I say, because, you know, a lot of people, that's not your industry. So let somebody know what they doing, do it. So, and then it give you peace of mind, because if you ever was to get audited, you have somebody to kind of help you through that. So.
Okay. I have this question. Basically, you know, you popping right now, right? What do you see, like, maybe you branching off and doing something else, or would you stick with this as long term?
Yeah, so I'm doing a bunch of different things with just being an accountant and staying in the industry. So
Gotcha.
I also I'm licensed to sell insurance, life,
Okay.
health, and accident insurance. So I'm doing stuff with that.
Okay.
I'm like I'm in works for something new. I don't want to say it,
Gotcha.
but just another product to help small business owners.
Okay.
So be seeing that soon. And so yes, I love the accounting industry.
Gotcha.
I love working for people and helping them. So it's a lot of stuff you can do. You know that.
Yeah, I do.
There's a whole
Right.
bunch of stuff you can do. And the people need help, especially because there's so many new entrepreneurs. They need
Right,
the help.
right.
And they don't have time to do it themselves.
True.
Would you see yourself doing any type of speeches or motivational speaking? Anything like that?
Um,
Well, not motivational speaking, but definitely, like, it's a lot of game that you can give.
Yeah.
You know.
And I do. So I do a lot of people just like y'all. People ask me to come and do panels. People
Yeah.
ask me to come, like I've done like the girls and boys clubs. I talk to parents about their
Yeah.
finances
Yep.
and tax planning. So definitely. And
Okay.
I'm a people's person, so I love to do that type stuff too.
Gotcha.
Nice. Now, getting back to some of the questions that I had, what happens to an unclaimed tax refund? Can you go back and receive refunds from previous years?
Yeah. So you can go back 5 years.
5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And then, so we kind of answered this one already. Which is better, receiving a refund or not receiving anything at all? But technically, you're not supposed to receive a refund
Exactly.
and not supposed to owe anything if
Right.
you pay as you go. So
Right.
yeah, that's the answer to that. Would you say it's best for an individual who only has like a W-2 and maybe like a 1098E for student loan interest to file the tax return on their own, or to go to a tax account like an H&R
To do it
Block
on their
or
own.
doing it on their own?
Yeah, if they got a student loan interest sheet, then I'm sure they're smart enough to go on TurboTax and do it.
No, I agree. It was the question that was sent.
Honestly, so when you come to me, a lot of people that come to me that have if you're a business, I always say go to an accountant, right? Eventually I want to only do business returns. So that's my goal.
Okay.
But I still do individuals because a lot of people like the peace of mind. So if you're a person, you don't care about paying because you rather have the peace of mind because you know you're going to always be able to find me. So if anything happen, you could call me and I can help you. Because that same person that has the W-2 and 1098E, they could maybe mark something wrong, and then now they got a letter from the IRS and they scared, and the only person that can help them is them. Or they have to do some type of amendment because they did it wrong.
Yeah.
So guess what? They got to come back to me, and now I'm going to charge them to do the amendment.
Right. Well,
You
yeah,
know?
cost time.
But a lot of those people who have just a simple W-2 and nothing extra, you can do it yourself.
Nice. So that was pretty much all the questions that I had. We kind of answered a lot of them just in regular conversation.
Yeah.
So I was just going to ask, just to wrap up, like, what other suggestions do you have for individuals and entrepreneurs with businesses for this upcoming tax season?
So really, if you don't have a business, start a business. I don't care what it is. I mean, Donald Trump literally don't pay taxes. He has 1,000 businesses. He has a gazillion write-offs. Like he has great tax accountants who give him all the loopholes. But I mean, start a business. Not only would it get you extra money throughout the year, but you gonna be saving a ton in taxes, and you never know, right? You never know. Don't sleep on your side hustle. So that's one tip I give. The write-offs is crazy. I mean, you get 58 cents per mile.
Yep. Mileage. Yep.
I mean, just mileage alone. So another thing is, if you do have a business, just make sure you keeping your receipts and tracking it correctly. I always say go ahead and open you up in a business account, because what'll happen is I always talk about in the sense of you getting audited, even with my clients, because I don't control who gets audited, right? So if you was to get audited, you want to make sure you can go back and you can find receipts, you can find proof that you have, and the more the better. You can technically file a business return without an LLC. But if you can send that document, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think just make sure you keeping good records. QuickBooks has a real good bookkeeping. Yep. If you're doing more money and more business, then you can hire somebody to try to balance your books or whatever. But am I answering your questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever suggestions you have.
Yeah, I don't know. But I am really big on people having a business. Like, gotcha. I mean, outside of trying to create more income in your household, and I'm a super entrepreneur, so, I mean, I may be biased, but outside of having more money in your household, like, the write-offs is ridiculous. I mean, it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope. Well, we want to thank you,
yes,
Keisha,
thank you
for coming through.
Thank you.
My accountant is black. Yeah, there you go.
Right there.
I'm Vanna White.
I don't know where the camera at. Where's the camera? Oh, it's right there.
These shirts are for sale, correct?
Yes.
On your website?
Yes.
TheAccountingQueen.com?
Yes, they $25.
$25.
Yes, sir.
These are ours.
And if you want one and you listen to this podcast, I'll throw you a deal for $20.
Hey, turn up. Exclusive.
Yeah.
No, seriously, thank you, Keisha. We appreciate you so much for being a repeat. I was about to say customer, a repeat guest.
I almost said offender. I don't know why.
Right? Look where your mind is. Look where your mind. Look where his mind at.
Why do you want me to
She was
be
a great. We want her to
criminal?
come back. You don't say that. Don't do that.
I ain't trying to be disrespectful.
Hey, give me your phone number, because if I
my
go
fault.
to jail, you definitely paying my bond.
I'm got a husband here. Type shit. No, seriously though. Thank you. We appreciate it. You dropped some real gems. I hope the listeners take heed to what you said, and before we leave the people with where they can find you again.
Okay, The Accounting Queen on everything: Instagram, Facebook, and my website, theaccountingqueen.com.
Dope. Now y'all know what time it is.
Last segment. Yeah.
Johnny hates everything, and then we out. Episode 69.
Oh shit.
So I'm gonna look at Ralph's face every time, because I rewatched the last episode.
My face.
And I saw your face. It was funny as hell. All right, so Johnny hates everything. I hate when people tell other people what to do with their money. You always hear quotes like, instead of buying Jordans, buy stock in Nike. Or you hear some phrase that ends with somebody telling people they need to buy a passport.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to you what other people do with their money? The way they choose to spend their money literally has no effect on whatever it is you got going on. What if in their world, spending money on things that they like brings them the joy that they need in order to be happy? It doesn't always necessarily mean the same things that you like. Now, I understand we do want better for our friends and family, especially financially. So instead of telling other people what to do with their money, let's just suggest ways for them to increase their financial well-being. And if people decide to take that advice, which it is their choice, maybe the things that will bring them joy will change. But let's stop policing people when it comes to how they choose to spend their own money. And with that, it's episode 69.
Yeah, make sure you comment, rate, and subscribe. Thumbs up on YouTube.
Facts.
All that great stuff. Leave a 5-star rating review on Apple Podcasts. Anything less than that, you're being a hater.
Facts. Keisha, thank you once again. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys.
No problem.
That's episode 69.
Yay!
And we out.
We out.
Peace.